Hello, welcome back to Live the Question podcast. I'm your host, Will Gao. This week, I'd like to cover the topic of doing shit wrong. Do you remember a time when you were encouraged to make mistakes? If that ever happened in your life, what did you hear? Oh yeah, you're still learning. It's okay. It's okay if you made a mistake, Jimmy. You're still learning. Such an interesting message. At which point do we stop learning? At which point are mistakes so expensive that they're not tolerated anymore? And there's no need to even deny the consequences of big mistakes. There are serious mistakes that cost money, that cost lives. Yet still, why so serious? If you compared someone who's relaxed, steady, operating a heavy machine versus someone who's on edge, panicking, second-guessing, who would you rather be the one to drive the machinery or operate on your heart? The sentiment of taking it seriously is not the same as putting attention and care into something. Our fear of mistakes has actually a huge cost on us. It costs us our well-being, it costs us our productivity, it costs us our effectiveness, it costs us humanity. So to bring this back down a little bit, I recently was exploring the idea that maybe the fastest way, the most efficient way to do things, for me, is to have fun. Animals have fun. If you've seen nature documentary where lion cubs, tiger cubs, they play fight. They learn very quickly. Do you see any necessity to pinpoint mistakes a lion cub makes when playing with another one? No, they learn so fast when they're just playing, when they're just having fun, doing something because they enjoy it. At the same time, when I tried it, when I explored the idea, I found it really hard, actually. Which got me to the deeper question. What makes it that doing things right is so important that I can't have fun? Well, since there's no better way to find out more than running some experiments, that's what I did. Came up with an experiment where I would list all the ways I would do something right and say, okay, now all those things can't be used anymore, can't be done anymore. I'm forced to try a different way. I'm forced to do things the wrong way. I'll give you an example. I was going to buy a grocery, and so I made the list. Okay, usually I nail down the recipes and I note down all the ingredients. And so now I have a list of groceries to buy. And then when I go to the store, I check against the list and I go around looking for exactly what I need. And sometimes, or most of the times, it gets a little stressful. It takes the fun out of it. The store that I go to now is still relatively new to me since I moved a few months ago. So it takes a while for me to find things. That discourages me from going back, from going to the store, from cooking. So I decided, well, why not try an experiment on this one? So I made the list, and instead of using the list in the store, I scanned the list before I left, and then I forgot about it. When I went to the store, I just browsed. I just wandered. I gave myself a rough time limit, and I restricted myself to certain areas so I'm not buying unhealthy things. So based on a rough understanding of the kinds of meals I was going to cook, I got 80% accurate with everything that I needed. The other 20% were excitement for me, was like discovering what might be fun to experiment with in the kitchen. So the end result was the shopping experience was better, the cooking experience was better, if not the same. So again, what makes it necessary to do things right? Well, from the standpoint of questionology, or the art of living in questions, what I came to understand is when you do things right, when you try to do things right, you have some unchecked assumptions about the question you're supposed to focus on. So in the case of shopping for groceries, the default question is, how do I get the exact ingredients for these exact recipes? Take a step back is, how do I cook these exact recipes according to plan? And, another step back, How do I feel confident in the predictability of my cooking and eating? So when you trace it back this way, upstream, you realize that there's all these wants and needs. Are there other ways to ask the question? Of course. How do I want to enjoy the experience of shopping for groceries? What kind of cooking experience will invite me back to more cooking, to more grocery shopping? What need does predictability satisfy? What are some ways it is already being satisfied? What are some other ways to satisfy it? How do I have fun meeting my needs? How do I have fun doing the important things? So once you start modifying the questions, you realize, wow, everything I'm doing, it is an attempt to answer a question. All the actions to meet a need, a desire, fulfill a responsibility, it is an answer to a question. So if there's only one way to ask the question, then it would make sense to find out what's right and what's wrong. But if there's always unlimited ways to ask the question, if there's always some way to tweak it, to modify it, there's always assumptions that you can ponder on, that you can check, then there's really no limit to how much you can have fun with your life. And when you think about it, how much have you used doing things the right way as a way to not give yourself the fun and freedom you deserved? How much pain is in that reflection? What would your life be if you just relaxed the constraints on a few things? If you just let it shake loose just a little bit, what happens? How much can we take the freedom and creativity that we do have and live that way and be with each other that way and learn and grow and play and do things the wrong way? I'm really, really excited about more people and more businesses and more groups to start fucking shit up, to start doing things wrong, not out of malicious intent, but because it's fun and because that is how we all learn and how we all meet each other where we truly are. Hypothetically, if there's a creator of the universe, nature on Earth, can you imagine how boring it would be if they took everything seriously? If they said, shining the light on things is really, really important. I must never alter it, make different colors just because, and just shine the light consistently, reliably, and make people feel safe. We wouldn't have seasons. We wouldn't have rainbows. What good does it serve if you find resistance in doing things the wrong way? Ask yourself, what's the question that I'm desperately wanting the right answer for? What freedom does it prevent me from exploring, from exercising? What are other ways that I can embody my values without compromising my nature of play and creativity and messiness? There's so much fun in messiness. Have you taken a look at the world? It is so messy. Have you looked at humans? We're so messy. Has any system been able to tame us to not be messy? Has it ever produced consistently good outcome? Well, it's been good to talk. Until next time.